I started well, but I didn't end well. A lesson God taught me. This is something I experienced recently, and I want to share it because I believe it can help someone else. I had a day where I started so strong with God. I woke up early, spent time in prayer, in the Word, and the fellowship I had with Him was so sweet. It was one of those days where you just feel alive in Him, where there's nowhere else you'd rather be. Even throughout the day, I was mindful. At work, I was conscious of how I spoke, how I carried myself. I was careful. I was present. I was aligned. And it felt good. But then, I didn't end well. After work, I got tired. I had been fasting and I gave in to the desire to snack. I told myself it was small, that it wasn't a big deal. I put on some videos, even if they were spiritual, I still drifted. I tried to go back to the Word, but the passion I had earlier wasn't there anymore. I didn't push through. I didn't stay. My prayer at the end of the day was minimal, and I went to bed knowing I didn't finish strong. And so I went to God this morning and I said, Father, I started well, but I didn't end well. And as I was praying, a scripture came to my heart, Matthew 24:13. But he that endureth to the end shall be saved. And I've always understood that verse in a big picture way. Your whole life, your walk with God from beginning to end, like what Paul says in 2 Timothy 4:7, finishing the race, keeping the faith. But this time, God brought it close. It was like He was saying to me, endure to the end of today. Not just your whole life, but this day right in front of you. Yes, you started well. Yes, you sought me early. But will you stay with me through the middle of the day? Through the tiredness, through the distractions, through the moments where you don't feel like it anymore? Will you endure to the end of your day? And suddenly that word endure came alive to me. Why does the scripture say endure? Because it's not always easy. If it were easy, you wouldn't need to endure. Endure means to persist, to push through, to withstand, to remain when everything in you wants to drift. It's like running a race. You may start strong, full of energy, full of excitement, but it's in the middle, and especially near the end, where it gets hard. That's where people lose strength. That's where they want to stop. And that's exactly where God is saying, endure. Endure when you're tired. Endure when you don't feel like praying. Endure when distractions are pulling at you. Endure when old habits are calling you back. And endure when the feeling is gone. Stay. Push through. Don't give up at the end of your day. And something shifted in me when I saw it this way. Because instead of thinking, will I endure to the end of my life? Which feels far away, almost overwhelming. Now I can say, can I endure today? I can stay with Him today. I can finish this day well. I can go to sleep having kept the faith today. And tomorrow, I do it again, one day at a time. It felt like a loving Father responding to me, not with condemnation, but with direction. Almost like a coach saying, you can do this. Just finish this stretch. Stay in it. And I realized something. It's not just about how you start the day with God. It's about how you finish it. Because the real battle often comes at the end. When you're tired, when you're drained, when you don't feel like it anymore. That's where endurance is built. That's where love becomes real. So now my focus is simple. Start well and endure to the end today.